So have you ever had a really tough decision that you had to make? Maybe you were going to college and you had to pick a major and you thought, if I don't pick the right major, then nothing's ever gonna work out ever again. It's gonna just derail the rest of my life. Or maybe you had a job that you were offered and you had to decide, do I quit my current job and go to this next job? I'm sure that all of us at some point in our life have had a really difficult decision to make. And there's this really amazing verse in Romans I want to share with you. It says, "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, for this is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, and then you'll be able to test and approve what the will of God is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." And it says a few really key things I want us to look at. The first is this: it tells you to be a living sacrifice. In short, it just means to live your life as though you have been sacrificed to a certain person, which means that we as Christians live our lives completely and totally 100%, every fiber of our being, devoted to God, as if we are sacrificed to Him in a living way. The second thing is, don't be conformed to the pattern of this world, which means that we don't need to look like the world, that as Christians we intentionally look different, that we live different, because the Bible gives us guidelines to live by, and those things make us look different than the world around us in a good way. The next thing is that we're supposed to be transformed, and how do we do that? By the renewing of our mind, which means that our thought life and our mental zone looks different than the things around us and looks different than what the world would have us believe we're supposed to have our thought life patterned after. And so if you do all these things, it's almost like a math equation, like this plus this plus this. And the then in this passage is almost like the equal sign, and it says, and then, if you do all this stuff, if you're in line with all these things, if you offer your body as a living sacrifice, if you're not conforming to the pattern of the world, if you're living as though your mind is renewed and made different, and you're thinking about things differently in the way that God would have you think about them, then you will be able to test and approve what the will of God is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. So if I can kind of pull all this together for us, this is what it means. It means that if you're walking with the Lord and you're living your life for the Lord, then making these tough decisions is going to get easier and easier as you mature in the Lord, because God has given you the ability to walk with Him, to reason the way that He wants us to reason, and we'll know experientially what to do, because that is God's will, is just to live in the middle of what He has told us to do, which is to have our mind renewed, to live a life that is devoted to Him, that is like a living sacrifice. And those tough decisions will be made so much easier if we are walking with the Lord. And so if you're looking for a challenge today, this is my challenge for you. To look at your life, take an account of what you're doing, what your thought life looks like, what your actions look like, who you're actually devoted to, whether that's God or something else. And then to look at your decision making and see, am I giving myself to the Lord and asking Him about the decisions that I'm making, or am I just willy-nilly making decisions and hoping they turn out for the best? So we hope you've been blessed by this today. Check us out on ccbchurch.org. We have more resources there. Love you. We'll see you soon.